One thing these playoffs have taught me about the Detroit Lions, and the Lions aren't even in the playoffs, so how would I learn anything about the Detroit Lions? What they've taught me is the Lions are not that far out. So many people are saying the Detroit Lions are, next year they should be competing for the division in the playoffs. But next year, I think they could be competing for the Super Bowl. I'm going to get into this in a second before you guys start calling me crazy and be like, whoa, what is this guy talking about? What the playoffs have taught me about the Detroit Lions is that they're not that far off from competing for a Super Bowl. If they nail this offseason, the Lions could be competing for the Super Bowl next year, and here's why. Week 1, we're playing the Philadelphia Eagles. They go up a little bit, and we come out of halftime. We're down 10 or 7. We kick an onside kick. That puts them up maybe 10 to 13 points. I was at that game. I can't really remember what transpired, but we came all the way back. Could have beat them if we didn't give them a pick 6. Right? So if we don't turn the ball over week 1, we have an opportunity of we went toe-to-toe with the Philadelphia Eagles. You can't tell me the Detroit Lions didn't go toe-to-toe. That went down to the wire. That was a game we could have won if Dan Campbell made better coaching decisions. Now let's get into my second team, Minnesota, division winners. We all know Minnesota's a fraud, right? They weren't going to go far, but you went toe-to-toe with them earlier in the season when we were in Minnesota and we had a coverage breakdown. And KJ Osborne scored that game-winning touchdowns. The Lions are not that far off. I'm going to get into more and more teams that the Lions that made the playoffs this year that the Lions really could have competed with, right? In the NFC, the AFC, we all know we went toe-to-toe with the Bills, man. We have so far less talent than all these other teams that are supposed to be Super Bowl champions, and the Lions were toe-to-toe with them all season. Thanksgiving. Now we talked about Minnesota. Dallas fumble away on the goal line for making that a ball game in their hometown, and this is when the Lions were on a spiral losing streak. We're coming off the bye week. We just got blown out by New England. We're linked to a bye week. We're getting healthy. We were very unhealthy. Then Jamal Williams fumbles on the 1-yard line, and that turns the game out of control, right? That's a playoff team that won a playoff team that competed with San Fran last weekend. Then you go New York Giants. We go to the New York Giants home field, home turf, and the Detroit Lions blow them out. We dominate that game. New York didn't even know what hit them. And you're sitting here telling me that the Lions are that far out. This is what this year has made me so mad about. Or these playoffs have made me so mad about. I'm not even really interested in the Super Bowl because I could care less if Philly wins. I know it's not Slay's problem. I'm a Slay fan. I love Slay when he was here, but I don't want him to win a Super Bowl without us. Sue already got his. I don't really want. It just hurts my heart watching players go on the other teams and go win a Super Bowl. But we're there, and I swear to God, next year we could be competing for a Super Bowl if this offseason goes well. And we already talked about what happened or what we need in the offseason. I already made a video about that. We need a defensive tackle, interior defense line to pair up with Bugs if we re-sign Bugs, and to pair up with Lee McNeil. If you get me a Deron Payne from Washington to pair that up with Lee McNeil and Bugs, that run defense is that much better because then you got Hutchinson on the outside, you got James Houston, and you get me a stud linebacker, whether that be via free agency or you go via the draft. I'd rather go on free agency. There's some studs out there. David Logan Jr., Levante David. All these guys would come out. Drew Tranquil from the Chargers. Those are good linebackers. That's an upgrade from the linebackers that we have right now. Safety help. You go get Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. What you just keep adding that defense is not really positions of need because you got young players that were balling out this year. You go get players that'll impact your defense, that are going to take your defense from 29, 30 to go to 20 or maybe middle of the pack. Look how dangerous the Lions would be. If the defense played like they did the last 8 games, minus the Carolina game, the Lions could have been in the playoffs, and this year they would have done some damage. And that's why these playoffs piss me off so much, that Philly is just riding into the playoffs. Last week they got to play a 5th-string quarterback, Christian McCaffrey. What San Francisco should have done, they just should have had Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel just run Wildcat. That's your best option. That's better than having a wide receiver throw your pass or something like that. I was just so bummed because this was a prime opportunity for the Lions to make a run this year. But next year, the Lions are there. They're not a year out. They're not. Stop being scared to say this. The Lions are here. Dan Campbell has turned this place into an attractive place. Dan Campbell knows what he's doing. The team finally learned how to win. Next year should be fun, and next year the Lions should be competing for the division. If you completely disagree with me, that's okay. Tell me why down in the comments section. But right now, these playoffs really taught me something about the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions are not that far away. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. Don't forget to like that button, hit that subscribe button, help this channel grow and get in the algorithm. And I really appreciate you for taking the time out of your day to rock with me, Tia. I'll see you guys in the next video. One Pride, signing out.